Israel's defense minister said he has ordered the country's military to ramp up its operations in the occupied West Bank after a series of bus explosions near Tel Aviv on Thursday that he described as a terror attack. According to Associated Press, Israel Katz made the comments during a visit to Tulkarem refugee camp, a militant stronghold and central focus of Israel's month-long operation. In a video message released on Friday, he said he told troops to intensify activities until terrorism is defeated. Israel announced a widespread crackdown against West Bank militants on January 21, just 2 days after the ceasefire deal with Hamas in Gaza. Tens of thousands of Palestinians in recent weeks have fled Israeli military operations across the northern West Bank, the largest displacement in the occupied territory since the 1967 Mideast War. Katz spoke the day after a series of explosions on 3 parked buses rattled central Israel in what authorities suspected was a militant attack that caused no injuries. "I want to convey a clear message from here to the terrorists and their senders. Yesterday's serious attempted attack against a civilian population will not deter us," said Katz. A group identifying itself as a branch of Hamas military wing, the Qassam Brigades, from the northern West Bank city of Tulkarem, posted on the messaging app Telegram, "We will never forget to take vengeance for our martyrs as long as the occupation is on our lands." The group did not appear to claim responsibility for the attack. Katz also directed a message to the Palestinian prisoners released under the ceasefire deal that paused the 15 months of fighting in Gaza. "We are keeping an open eye on you, and any involvement by any of you in carrying out or directing terrorism will immediately cost you the heaviest price," he said.
ניסיונות הפיגוע החמורים אתמול מול אוכלוסייה אזרחית לא ירתיעו אותנו. אנחנו נמצאים במלחמה נגד הטרור האסלאמי הקיצוני, ואנחנו ננצח כאן ובעזה ובכל מקום, ונשמיד את חוטפי ורוצחי התינוקות של החמאס. עם טרור לא מתפשרים, טרור מחסלים. הנחיתי את צה"ל להעצים את הפעילות ביהודה ושומרון עד להכרעת הטרור. אני מזהיר את המחבלים ששוחררו ליהודה ושומרון במסגרת העסקה להחזרת החטופים. אנחנו פוקחים עליכם עין, וכל מעורבות של מישהו מכם בביצוע ובהכוונת טרור תעלה לכם מיידית במחיר הכבד ביותר.
Hamas handed over the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages, including a mother and her 2 children, to the Red Cross in the Gaza Strip on Thursday. According to Associated Press, the remains were said to be of Shiri Bibas and her 2 children, Ariel and Kfir, as well as Oded Lifshitz, who was 83 when he was abducted. Kfir, who was 9 months old when he was taken, was the youngest captive. Hamas has said all 4 were killed along with their guards in Israeli airstrikes. The militants displayed 4 black coffins on a stage surrounded by banners, including a large one depicting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a vampire, as Red Cross vehicles arrived at the scene in the Gaza Strip. The fighters then carried the coffins over to Red Cross vehicles, where staffers in red vests covered them in white sheets before placing them inside. The Red Cross convoy headed back to Israel, where authorities will carry out the formal identification of the remains using DNA, expected to take up to 2 days. Only then will the families be given the final notification. Thousands of people, including large numbers of masked and armed fighters from Hamas and other factions, gathered at the handover site on the outskirts of the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis. Israeli channels did not broadcast the handover. In Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, where Israelis have gathered to watch the release of living hostages, a large screen showed a compilation of photos and videos of Lifshitz and the Bibas family, including a chuckling baby Kfir and the family dressed up in Batman costumes. Dozens of residents of kibbutz Nir Oz, where the 4 were kidnapped, gathered to wave Israeli flags outside of their temporary home an hour north of the kibbutz. Israelis have celebrated the return of 24 living hostages in recent weeks under a tenuous ceasefire that paused over 15 months of war. But the handover on Thursday will provide a grim reminder of those who died in captivity as the talks leading up to the truce dragged on for over a year.